Morning.
Can you hear me? No? Let's go up.
Try it again, George.
Okay, it's about 9 o'clock. I think it's time to begin our meeting. Certainly happy to see so many of you that have taken the time out of a beautiful day to come here and sit in a closed room and watch slides. Our meeting today our agenda is pretty much the same as it always is. We have a couple of items though that are in that agenda. Our presentation will be by Bob Markham on note-taking technology. Our finances are solid. We're basically in the same position, a little better than we were last year, but we're certainly solid. And we've been continuing to support the Grafton Food Pantry. And again, I urge you that coffee and donuts that the club provides, but all of the funds that you put in the jars go to Grafton Food Pantry. It does not go to the club to offset the cost of the donuts and coffee. Okay, our membership, that's an unbelievable number. We're over 1,600 members. I don't know if Joe can hear you or not out there, but the membership committee has done a remarkable job, and we're really very pleased at that number. The only fear we have is that everyone would show up for a meeting. I'd like to again emphasize that computer repairs are limited to the computers owned by the members of the association. We're very, I won't say we're stretched, but we're certainly getting close to being stretched on our capabilities. So we're just not in a position to fix grandchildren's or other computers of members. It really has to be limited to our members' computers. Also, again, I would emphasize that if you have any interest in topics for either our general meeting or classes, because we'll be putting together the fall sessions soon, please email that to either myself or Frank at the Computer Club address. We'd like to make a request for funds here. As you know, our bylaws require any expenditure over $500 to be first approved by the board and then brought to the membership. Currently, we have 18 machines in the lab. About 3 or 4 of them have Roxio on. We're getting more and more demand for DVD work and for that type of thing. And it's kind of a patchwork. There are different versions of Roxio, which makes it quite a challenge as you go from machine to machine. We would like to spend the money to put a current version of Roxio on every machine. The cost of that will be approximately $1,500. It might be a little less. We're trying to qualify as a university, and Frank has taken that as a challenge. I'm not sure we're going to win that one. But if we become qualified as an educational institution, we'll be a little less than that. But we're asking for the funds to buy the regular version of Roxio. So I would really request a motion to spend the $1,500
Make a motion to spend the $1,500.
Okay, could I have a second? Second. Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I would say that carries.
A little humor.
Okay, I'm going to go through the announcements again on membership. I think you're all aware of it, but Joe and Howie are out in the outside hallway there with the table and the computer set up. If you haven't renewed your membership, the $5 is certainly the best bargain in Sun City, and I'd urge you to take care of that. Again, our early membership program ends on June 30th. Not July 1st, but June 30th. So please, if you're going to renew your membership, make sure you take care of that before June 30th. Again, our normal membership is $25. And again, that's per household. So now when you register with a spouse, or when you register, you have to put the spouse's number in, but it's free as far as the charge is concerned. So we're going to have our monthly newsletter. It's going to come out very shortly. It'll be the first newsletter we've ever had, and it's a noble experiment, and obviously there's going to be little tweaks and things that we're going to have to change as we go, but we felt that it was very important. The newsletter will come to you as an email, and it will be formatted in a way with pictures and what have you, so it will be very attractive. And that will be coming out very shortly. Spring classes began on April 15th. We're offering classes. The descriptions are currently on the website. One I would mention is that the class on Photoshop Photo Gallery was originally scheduled for May 14th. That's this Wednesday coming up. That's been rescheduled for Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the lab. So that's a change that we've had to make. And again, I remind everyone it's the end of an era. Now, one thing that has happened, as all of you are aware, there were significant issues with Internet Explorer. They've supposedly been solved by Microsoft. There has been a patch issued, what have you. That patch is available for download to XP machines. Microsoft is emphasizing this as a one-time concession, probably to the law department, but essentially saying that they will allow that patch to be on XP machine, even though they're not going to continue the ongoing update service for XP. Community matters. We have a board meeting May 21. I urge you to attend that if you can. It's at 1 o'clock. The executive director meeting, I understand that's been changed to the afternoon, and the date is in Lifestyle and the date is on the website. I forget the exact date that is. Also, some really great news for the area, I think, not just for Sun City, but we now have a radio station authorized. That's the good news. The bad news is now we have to get some money to put up antennas and get equipment and what have you. So I understand that they're going to have a fundraiser they're going to have a series of fundraisers, but they're going to have a fundraiser on May 31st. You want to look at Lifestyles or the website and get some information on that. It'd be a really nice thing to have our own local radio station, and I understand it's of course available now on the internet, and they've developed some very good programming, community interest things, and a lot of other things that are well worthwhile. Okay, don't all rush out. At 10 o'clock, the Garden Club will begin selling flowers. I guess it's warm enough to sell flowers, although it might be a little premature. But at any rate, down in the fountain, down at the fountain there, we'll be selling flowers today. And the band is going to have their spring concert, which will be marches and musicals. That's going to be on May 15th and May 17th May 15th in the evening, May 17th in the afternoon. They have a table on Friday mornings down at Fountain View where you can buy tickets, or you can contact, I believe, any band member to purchase tickets for that as well. The Railroad Club open house, that's always a very popular thing. That's next Sunday, May 18th from 11 to 4. I believe they're still going to have coffee and cookies, but they also have all of their trains running, and it's a very popular event. It's well worth attending if you've never seen the railroad in operation. Huntley Memorial Day Parade will be May 26th, 11 a.m. down on Main Street. And I was asked to point out that the mighty Kishwaukee River Bridge is going to be redone. And that is going to close Main Street basically right here This is the road we all take Cameron to Maine and down. This is gonna be closed for some time. And basically, they're talking from June to August, basically. This has gotta be a major bridge. I haven't found it yet. But it's seriously, it's your tax dollars at work. More importantly, it's going to direct traffic all the way down on Del Webb Boulevard so you can get out to 47. I had heard they're also going to tear up Del Webb Boulevard, but I haven't seen that officially yet. But that would be the other issue. So you should be aware of this. And by the way, I understand that the emergency service personnel have also been informed, and they're making alternate plans as far as ambulance routes and things like that. With that in mind, I'd like to turn this over to Bob, and Bob will talk to you about what's that? Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Another point, and I'd like to introduce John Sterling to make a comment on the nominating committee.
The nominating committee, through much cajoling and arm twisting, has convinced the current officers to run again for next year. However, the nominations are open for anybody else that would like to run for office. If you'd like to have your name put in nomination, see me either after the meeting or any time in the computer lab when it's open, and we'll get your name on the nominating committee and have a vote on that. Those nominations have to get to me before the next meeting. And while I got the microphone, we now have over 1,600 members, but we still only have about 25 monitors in the shop. And it's really getting to be a problem. We need more monitors. And you really don't need to be a real expert to be a monitor. What you need to, we need people that are greeters. We need people that when members come to the lab to get their computers repaired, kind of sort things out, get the paperwork started, and assign them to one of the monitors. If you volunteer as a monitor, we'll train you, we'll get you up to speed. The first thing you'll probably do is teach people how to use some of the audio visual equipment we have in there, like the slide scanners, the picture scanners, and so on. But we need more people. This year in particular, the snowbirds came back with large hauls of broken computers. And we've really been kind of jammed up in there. So anybody that would like to help us volunteer, we desperately need about 10 more volunteers for monitors. Come and see me after the meeting or stop into the lab sometime when it's open.
Is this working?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you know?
Phone slide.
Is it going to be the next slide? No. There we go. Good morning. I love wandering around, and I promised Ken that I would stay within an arm's length of this podium this morning. Otherwise, I could end up anyplace. Before we get started, I want to just do a little role play with you for a second. So I'm going to pretend like I'm at my doctor's office, as many of us are there, sometimes more often than others. So we're sitting down, and the nurse walks in. Yeah, do I need to roll up my sleeve? Oh, okay, great. Oh, my list of medications. Why, yes. You know, I have the list of my medications right here on my phone. Yeah, it's really a great application. Well, it's called Evernote. Yeah, it keeps up to date and it works really great, and I don't have to remember anything. We're on the airplane, and Dawn and I are going on a trip. Yeah, honey, I think I worked through the whole checklist. How do I remember? Oh, because I've got it on my iPad right here. Yes, cancel the USA Today. Yes, cancel the newspaper, the Daily Herald. Oh yeah, I put the mail on hold. Yeah, Craig and Deb are gonna water the plants. Oh, that's because I got it all on my iPad right here. I went through my checklist before we left for a trip. Wow. We're gonna talk about how to do that. Evernote and OneNote. They're both about the same in lots of ways, but they're both ways that you guys can keep track of anything. You're going to be really excited. So, here's what we're going to talk about. What do these two programs do? Where do I get them? Where do they work? How do they compare? What would you use them for? That's the most important thing. If they're not useful, the heck with it, right? Why might you fall in love with one of these programs? I'm going to tell you that. And what do they look like? Here's the biggest thing. Did you see at the bottom of the screen there that they're free? Yes, free is good.
Hi, welcome to Evernote. Evernote is a way to capture all your experiences and access them from anywhere. Type a note, store documents, record audio, capture a photograph, or any other moment you want to remember. Evernote saves and synchronizes your digital life across all your devices. No matter where you are, Evernote is with you. Use it to stay more organized. Plan your next trip. Design and manage a project. Clear your paper clutter. Capture a moment and always find what you need. Life is full of experiences, and Evernote helps you capture, manage, and remember them all.
And you guys can do this. Don't get overwhelmed by any of this. Every one of you guys can use either one of these programs. You can learn them in not too much time. So here's a screenshot of Evernote. And there's lots of add-on apps to Evernote that you could get as you get more involved in the program. There's lots of other ways that little apps that you can add on to Evernote. Don't get overwhelmed by this screen. I just want you to know that there's lots of different ways that you can use that program. This is just one of the add-on apps to Evernote. You know what I have in Evernote? I have a list of restaurants. Because guess what? Do you ever get to the point where you say, gosh, let's go out to eat tonight? You're trying to think of the restaurant that you were at 6 months ago, but you can't remember the name of it, or you can't remember the address. Where do you keep that information? Evernote. And you know what? You can use OneNote, the Microsoft program, just the same way. So let's talk for a second, and I'm going to talk about both of these programs. They're both going to do almost exactly the same thing. They look a little bit different, so when you get done, when you leave here this morning, you may make a choice about which one you want to use. And we're going to talk about where they work too, so don't worry about you're sitting here, oh gosh, will they work on my iPad, or will they work on my tablet, or will they work on my smartphone, or will they work on a Mac? We're going to talk about that, and guess what? They work all of those places. So if we were going to sign up for Evernote, say for instance, we're going to go to the page that you see up there that I have a circle around that says Evernote, evernote.com, right? Don't have to remember much. And it's going to have a little box there that says sign up. It's going to have another box there that says free, continue. All those in favor of free, raise your hand. Yes. So, you won't need, listen, I've used Evernote for probably almost 3 years, and I haven't found any burning need to pay. So free is going to work fine for you. And it's going to want you to create an account. And you're going to need an email address and a password. And that's pretty typical, isn't it? And you can do that. That's pretty easy. And you see up there, capture anything, access anywhere, find everything fast. And we're going to talk about what capture anything, access anywhere, and find everything fast means. Here is a screenshot of my Evernote. And you see I highlighted some things over on the left right here. And I'm trying to decide which, is that the button right there? No. Which is the pointer button here? George is giving me the pointer button. We'll just take you, George. This one works, okay. You see up here, this is my Evernote, a screenshot, and I have Evernote notebooks. I have one for business, and this is my notebook stack. I have one for personal. I refinanced my house a while back. I have one notebook for refinance, and there's Sun City, and I have all my Sun City stuff. You can't see all of my notebooks. Here's how I want you to think about Evernote. Evernote and OneNote are like notebook binders, like regular binders, 3-ring binders. And in the 3-ring binder, you have tabs. And the tabs are like you see right here. Personal, could be personal, business, Sun City, refi, could be, I have one for travel, I'll show you all mine. So in your binder, you've got tabs, and then guess what? In the tabs, you're going to put pages, right? Information. Now, the big difference is with Evernote and OneNote is this binder goes wherever you are. Both of them are stored on the internet. They're transmitted using encrypted transmission. So that's protected. On the internet, you have a password in your login. It's on your iPad or your tablet. It's on your iPhone or your Android phone. It's on your computer at home. This morning, I added something to my OneNote, and about 2 minutes later, it was on my phone and my tablet. Is that cool or what? Right? It's every place. So, this is, if you had Evernote running, this is what it would look like. And you can see that what television, I write a lot of stuff, and I was writing about television a while back, and I just, it's like I'll probably use this in my, I have this dream I'm going to write a book sometime, like a autobiography or something like that. You guys into that kind of stuff? So I keep having these notes that I put away, And the thing I wrote here is about television is so different today, isn't it? Gosh. Now, where do they work? Guess what? Windows and Macs, check, check. They work on phones, they work on tablets, they work on iPads, they work on Android phones, it's on the web. It syncs all these devices together, and it's free. Right? So listen, whatever you have, either one of these programs will work. So, how do they compare? So, if I'm talking to you about both Evernote and OneNote, what's the difference? And it'll be a decision that you can make. But basically, OneNote is a Microsoft product. Evernote is from Evernote Corporation. They've got their websites here. Handwriting recognition, they both do that. Checklists as a type of note, notebook organization. In Evernote, they call them stacks. So a stack would be like a tab in a paper notebook. And OneNote calls them sections, so no big deal there. PDF indexing, you may or may not care about that. It means that if there's a PDF file, can the program index or read that file? One of them can, OneNote can't, big deal. Note history, only in the paid version. Here, yes. Integration with Microsoft Office, no. Yes, here. Email as an input channel, Evernote, yes, and through Outlook only. Now, one thing I should mention is that with Evernote, you have to register, name and password. With OneNote, you need an Outlook account, Microsoft Outlook. Now, chances are, if you purchase a new computer, or if you've upgraded to Windows 8 or Windows 8.1, that you now have an Outlook account. So that's the account that you would use for OneNote. In a way, it's a lot like, when you register, when you get a Gmail account, it's a Google account. So now all of a sudden you have access to all kinds of Google applications, not just Gmail, by virtue of the fact that you have a Gmail account, you have a Gmail address. Well, OneNote operates a lot that way. If you have an Outlook account, which you need for registering your Microsoft Windows 8 or 8.1, then you've got that account already. Encrypted transmission, reminders. It does reminders in Evernote. And actually, OneNote does reminders, but it does the reminders through Microsoft Outlook. And user rating, don't pay a lot of attention to that, but there was a user rating done on these, and OneNote rated a little bit higher, but not significant. What do you use them for? Guess what? Keep any kinds of notes, anything that you can write down. You can keep pictures. It syncs with other devices. You can keep lists. Easily search. Both applications contain a web page as a note. In other words, you can dump web pages into either one of these programs. You can have audio and video notes. You can use it as your diary or a log. And I'm going to show you more things that you can do with them. This is my Evernote. And this is a screenshot from my iPhone. Okay? And it would look the same on my iPad, look the same on my desktop computer. This will give you some ideas about what I do with Evernote. And I do the same thing with OneNote. So, guess what? I have a business notebook. Here's my personal notebook. I have an emergency plan in there. I have some genealogy stuff. So, if you're kind of into a little bit genealogy or family stuff, where do you dump that information? Most of you probably now have files all over your computer, like separate little files every place to keep that information. Memoirs. I said, someday I'd like to write some stuff about my family, and actually I keep doing that. You sit down and you say, oh yeah, I remember some stuff about when I was in 6th grade, and I thought that was kind of interesting, so I write a couple paragraphs. Where do you put that stuff? Guess what? You put it in Evernote, or you can put it in OneNote. I open up that program on my computer and everything is there. And it's easy to find and it's all organized. It's not like organizing your computer, trying to find 100 different files on your computer, which can drive you crazy, right? And both of these programs are just like word processors. And remember we started out, I said, oh yeah, you go to the doctor, roll up your sleeve, and they say, well, Mr. Markham, could you give us a list of your other doctors that you're seeing? Or Mr. Markham, I've had cancer, so I have all kinds of cancer information in there. Mr. Markham, we need to update the list of medications that you're taking. They ask you that all the time, right? And they read off a list, and then you're wondering, and then you say, oh yeah, that's right, but is it right? You can have that list of medications on your phone when you go to the doctor, updated, so that you can make sure that what your doctor thinks you're taking is what you are taking. Isn't that cool? Isn't that great? You don't have to print a piece of paper, you don't have to do anything, it's on your phone. Recipes. Donna and I like to cook stuff, so it would be like a notebook, right? And in my notebook, I have a tab that says recipes. Only it's not on paper. It's on my phone, it's on my iPad, it's on my computer, it's on the internet. All those places communicate together. So there's recipes that we like. Ooh, we like different kinds of wine. Guess what? You go to the store, right? You say, oh man, I read about that really great wine and it was only $7 a bottle. What the heck was the name of that stuff? I can't remember, and you're over there at Costco or Trader Joe's or whatever, right? Oh, guess what? It's on your phone. Isn't that cool? Politics, kind of like that stuff, I'm not, I'm done with a refund. Movies. Somebody tells me about a movie. Oh yeah, it's a really great movie I just saw. Oh yeah, I'd love to see that movie. I can't remember the name of it. Guess what? I have a page in my OneNote that I keep a list of movies. So if Dawn and I sit down, we have Comcast, so, what are we going to do tonight? It's Saturday. Oh, let's watch a movie. Oh yeah, on Comcast there's 20,000 movies, So you spend 15 minutes scrolling through the movies. Wouldn't it be cool if you had a list of movies already? Because somebody tells you about a movie, you read a review in the paper, like in Sunday, they're doing those now, I think. Home inventory, of course, because you want to, be, ahead of the game in case there's a disaster at your house. Everybody has a home inventory, right? Of course. Where would you keep that list? How about if your home inventory was on your phone, your iPad, your phone, and your computer are destroyed? Guess what? It's stored in a file on the internet. You go to the internet, any computer, put in your password, put your login and your password in, you go to your Evernote, you go to your OneNote, and there's the home inventory. Hey, and guess what? You can have a copy of your insurance policy right there too. I'm going to show you some other cool things in a minute. But to-do lists, I love jokes and stories, so I keep lists of jokes and stories. Music, I keep lists of that stuff. I have a travel notebook. I have my 2-week packing list. Guess what? We're going to take a trip. I open up my Evernote or I open my OneNote, they're in both places, and I check off, do we get, 2 pairs of undies, 2 weeks, no, maybe for 2 weeks I might take more than 2. And I've got, what do I do before I leave the house? I have copies of our passport and our driver's licenses. Tips for staying healthy while traveling. I got all kinds of stuff here. It's always available to me. Sun City Notebook, Computer Club. I'm on some committees and got all the everything about the committees that I'm on is here. The agendas, the notes, the emails, everything is there in one place. I can go to any of 4 or 5 committees I'm on and take this right here. Everything that committee has done is here. That's it. This is what another screenshot of Evernote, and I said, oh yeah, travel information, here's my to-do list, here's the to-do list right there. Isn't that cool? Passports. Oh, you know what, don't look at the Donis. I got her picture in there and she hates it. Oh, am I gonna get it when I get home? So I got pictures of our passports, pictures of our driver's license. Guess what? If we were traveling and we lost a wallet or something, I could go to the internet. If we lost everything, I could go to the internet. There's a copy of my passport. There's a copy of my driver's license. Is that not a good idea? Yeah. And you know, we fly in United, there's United stuff and Delta stuff and to-do lists, and everything is in there. Now, here's what Evernote looks like on my smartphone. You know, it's the little icon there, and if I click on the icon, there's my notebooks right here, and I click on that, and I've got all the information that I need right there. And here's a list of my movie list, say for instance. Those are movies I want to see. And oh yeah, I said that there could be pictures. Well, guess what? I have a notebook called Memories, and I threw a bunch of pictures in there. You guys ever use that stuff? Your mom used that on you? So it's not just words. It can be pictures, and it could be stuff off the internet. It could be sound. It could be video. It could be lots of things. And now we're looking at OneNote. Okay, here's Evernote. This happens to be on my iPhone. Here's OneNote, and this is on my PC. You see how similar it looks? But I want to point out the differences to you, and the differences may be why the user rating is slightly more than for OneNote than it is for Evernote. So here's my notebooks here, right? I have one notebook called Memories. See my personal right there, and I got to-do list, recipes, health, buy list. That's my stuff that I want to buy. That I have to get permission for. And good stories and travel stuff. I got an emergency plan. You guys got an emergency plan? If you had one, where would you write it down, right? This is where you write it down. So this is exactly the same, looks the same in Evernote and OneNote, doesn't it? OneNote uses colored tabs across the top right like this. That's different from OneNote. And right up here you see that this looks a lot like a word processor, which is another difference between OneNote and Evernote. I mean, they both act like word processors, but this looks more like Microsoft Word or something that you're familiar with, you know. And so that means that all the kinds of formatting things, you know, making tabs and making numbered lists and making bold and all that kind of stuff that you're used to doing, it works the same, you know. This happens to be on my PC, and this is my notebook information. These are all my notebooks, and if I click this button over here, it syncs everything, or it'll sync automatically. Okay, I showed you what Evernote looked like on my iPhone. this is what it looks like. This is what OneNote looks like on my iPhone. So there's the Evernote icon, and there's the OneNote icon. And if I click that icon, I get my notebooks here, right? Then if I click on personal, then it goes to personal. Or, click on my Sun City notebook or my travel notebook, whichever. So, biscuits and gravy, yum. So, I said, personal notebook. In my personal notebook, I have recipes, right? Here's one of my recipes, Southern biscuits. So guess what? What if I was, say, for instance, at the grocery store and I thought, gosh, I want to make Southern biscuits, and I can't remember if I have all the stuff that I need for Southern biscuits. I could take my phone and go click, click, click. I'd have the recipe. Because remember, this is on my phone, on my tablet, on my computer at home. It's every place the same. Could be pictures. This is just a screen grab from the internet, right? They just grabbed this off the internet and stuck it in there. Pretty cool, isn't it? Hey, that's on my phone. That's what it looks like. It looks the same, doesn't it? And a minute later, it is there. So, conclusion. Whichever you choose, it will work on all your devices and sync automatically. Both of them. You can keep track of your health and medical information. You can keep photos and graphics. You can keep lists, to-dos, schedules, important information that's useful wherever you are. You can organize your life, movies, recipes, travel plans, club information. You can use it like a word processor. OneNote is probably a little bit better at that. It's not a substitute for your photo manager. Can you keep lots of photos in it? Yeah. Is it a substitute for your photo manager or Picasa or whatever you use? No. Online access requires a password, but that's easy. So, ask me a question. Yes, sir.
Actually,
We're using a mic.
I have several questions. But
Okay.
One, when you say it's on the internet, you mean it's in a cloud storage?
It is. It's stored in the cloud,
And
both of them.
Is the cloud provided by the vendor or
It is.
provider
The cl-
of this
Yes.
system? Okay.
The cloud is either Microsoft or Evernote.
Second, you showed us many very interesting tabs and contents. Do they have a sort of a template that you can choose from, or those all were your own creation?
Those are all my own creation.
Good, you have a business there.
What's that?
I said, I think you have a business
Yeah.
selling tabs. Third question, entry of data, which is, I assume you can use audio and it converts speech. You can use keys, but those are slow. And
It doesn't, well, hold on one second. It doesn't convert audio, it doesn't do text to speech. It only has the audio file.
Okay, but if you use a standard speech to text converter, does it accept that?
No.
No, okay. Finally, people are concerned about identities theft.
Sure.
And this would be the dream of any hacker. So the security of this is, think of interest.
Yes.
Bob, repeat the question so I can hear.
Yeah. The question is that, what's the security? This is a hacker's dream, this program. And is that correct? Yes, that's correct. However, think about this. It's on your computer. First of all, both of these programs, either of these programs, exist on your computer. So does tons of other information that you have on your computer. So it means that your computer has to have some kind of security installed on it, because, you know, can you get to this? If you can hack your computer, yes, and tons of other stuff, number one. Number two, then it exists on your phone. So that's a concern. Yes, it is a concern, because on your phone, I don't need a password to open that particular program on my phone. But my phone is password protected, number one. And number two, if I lost my phone on both the iPhone and on the Android phone, I can click a button and lock that phone or delete all the information on that phone. So, do you need to watch your phone? Yes. And it's the same thing on your tablet. Lose your tablet, and you need a way to either delete all the information on that tablet or find that tablet. But the tablet should be password protected. Am I answering your question?
So the thing we've heard about in the news from time to time is not the hacking of the individual device. It's the hacking of the data which is stored by a corporate entity, which then they go in and then they find social security numbers for 35,000 people, sort of a thing. And so my thought has to do with
the cloud storage. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Well, the transmission of the data is encrypted. The cloud storage of the information is password protected, but it's not any better than almost anything else that you have in the cloud. I mean, it's not worse. It's not better or worse. The lady back there in the white, or where are we? Over there, okay.
Okay, I have several questions.
Sure.
What is the storage capacity? Is there a limit on how much you can store to the cloud?
There's a limit for both programs without paying any extra. And I think on OneNote, it's about 20 gigabytes. And on Evernote, it's a little bit more than that. And I'm trying to think if it's 30 or 40 or something like that. The storage is enormous for both of them.
Okay, then on Evernote, you do PDF, or OneNote you can't. Does that mean you can't save a PDF on OneNote then?
Yeah. Can you sync a PDF with OneNote? Is your question?
I think you said you can't use a PDF on OneNote.
Actually, my whole presentation, I put in OneNote. I synced it. My whole presentation is in a PDF, and it's also in a PowerPoint presentation in OneNote on this device right here.
But see up there, it says there,
Wow, look on the screen.
PDF indexing.
Oh,
So what does that mean? Trying to
That's
find
just
a PDF
indexing.
file?
It's just indexing.
See, PDF indexing, on Evernote it says yes, OneNote it says no.
that's right. In other words, you can't index the information within the file. You can index the name of the file, not the information in the file. That's the difference.
Oh, okay. Also to note history on the Evernote for only paid version, what does that mean for note history?
Note history. That means that it keeps a log of every time you make a change or an update to a file in OneNote, but only in the paid version in Evernote.
Okay, also to say
It's not going to be a big, unless you're really into stuff, it's not a big deal.
Say you and your wife, right, you and your wife both have a PC, and an iPad, and an iPhone, and you want to sync between all of them together, even your wife's stuff. Would you need then just one login and one account then, so everything gets synced to 6 devices?
Well, there's actually two things. You can use the same account, number one, or you can actually share certain notebooks. So there's notebook sharing ability with both of these programs.
Okay, so
But you pick the notebooks that you want to share. In other words, if I only wanted to share the food pages or the personal notebook, I could just do that.
So that way there, it's better to have 2 accounts, everything have more storage. And
Yeah.
And hit the share thing.
Sure.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Over here. To your left.
I'm looking for the microphone. Go ahead.
As I look at what you've accomplished,
Can't hear you, Tony.
be patient, be patient. Can you hear me now, folks? Thank you. As I see what you accomplished with Evernote and OneNote, I accomplish identically the same with my computer. Okay, it just requires a little file maintenance discipline. And that's what you've done here. You've created files and you've segregated stuff. There's one difference. On my computer, I have an option if I want to send this to the cloud or I don't want to send it to the cloud. If I don't send it to the cloud, I should do a backup, and I should keep that backup away from the computer so that if the computer burns, I got the backups in place. The only thing that this accomplishes, and I am not going to play part of it in my lifetime, is walking around always with that stupid thing in front of me. I'm not going to do it. I find it terrible when any of my children try and do it, or grandchildren try and do it while I'm around or at the table. I will not permit it. But this is coming to the point where you can't think anymore without that stupid thing in front of you. This is a telephone. It only acts as a telephone.
You know, and I think that's really, I think that's really a great comment. And we took our granddaughter on a road trip a few months back, and she's in college and spent a lot of the time going like this. So I understand totally what you mean. But here's what this can accomplish for you, Tommy. I don't know about you, but I can't remember the amount of stuff that I used to be able to remember. I'm sorry, it's how it is. These programs, whichever one you choose to use, allows Dawn and I to remember stuff, or to find the list, to find the stuff that we just can't remember everything anymore. It allows us to have checklists and lists and things that enriches our lives, that makes our lives better, because now we have access to that stuff. And I agree, don't let the technology get in your way. Ken?
Yes. I'll do this one.
I want to get away from that microphone over there too. One thing that Bob did not point out is, don't come into the lab on Monday morning with your old flip phone and say, how do I do that on here? You have to have a smartphone.
Yeah, thank you.
Bob?
Yes.
I was wondering, how does this compare to Dropbox?
Where are you? Oh, there. Okay, gotcha.
I use Dropbox, not terribly efficiently, but I use Dropbox. What's the advantage of this over Dropbox, or is there?
This is quite different than Dropbox, in that Dropbox is a place to put files. This is not a place to put files. This is a place to put information. Remember that all of the different kinds of notebooks, quote, that I showed you, you know, the food notebook and the recipes and the travel stuff and those are not separate files. That's information in one place. It's like a notebook. It's not, you saw probably, actually I have 43 notebooks, I think. There are not 43 files. It's all of that information, very easily accessible, very well organized, easy to understand in one place. It's not 43 different files or 43 different folders. Okay. Yeah, over here.
Why did you have both Evernote and OneNote on your phone, or was that just for the presentation, or is it for double storage?
I'm going to answer that personally for me.
Repeat the question.
Okay. And the question is, why do I have both Evernote and OneNote on my phone, my tablet, and everything? Here's the personal answer for me. Because Evernote has been around much longer than well, OneNote's been around for a while, but Microsoft all of a sudden made the program much more usable and much better over the last year or so. Evernote has been around much longer. I started using Evernote a few years ago, and I'm always out there looking for what's going on. Now I realized about, 6 months ago, that OneNote has really gotten to be a fabulous program. So I'm using both of them right now, but I'm in the process of moving all my notes from Evernote to OneNote because I like the way OneNote organizes the information in a more visual, easier to understand way. So it's just, I've got both of them right now.
My question is, how does it interface with Siri, or does it?
I can't see where you are. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Is there a connection and a relationship between either of these programs and Siri and how she works?
No, they don't. No, they're two separate programs.
So you cannot use her with?
You can use both of them, but you have to manually take information out of one and put it in the other one if that's what you want to do. They don't interface. They don't connect.
I'm not sure I'm being clear. Can you use Siri to input information by speaking it rather than
Voice, Siri, voice.
Oh, Siri.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Voice.
Siri, the nice lady on your iPhone.
Right.
The answer is no.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, right here. Go ahead.
It sounds like you're duplicating everything between the two. How do you do that? How are you putting Evernote, syncing it with OneNote? I mean, the programs aren't designed to do that, so where are you?
I don't sync those two programs together. They do not, yes, I have to copy the stuff. If you talk to me in about another 6 months or 12 months, I probably will not be using Evernote anymore. I'll be using OneNote. And that's just a personal preference for me because I like the way OneNote works and I do use Microsoft Office, and it works really nicely with Microsoft Office. From the word processor standpoint, I mean, frankly, if you're not doing heavy-duty word processing, you don't need a word processor. You could use OneNote. Yes, right here.
I was thinking how nice it would be to be able to keep this in the car and use it, but you have to have internet connection, is that correct?
No.
So you either have to be at home or at Panera.
No. That's a really good question.
What is the question, Bob?
Repeat the question, please.
She wants to know, she said, gee, really sounds great, but if I'm in my car, I can't use it because I need an internet connection. No. It's on your phone. Without an internet connection, it's on your tablet when it's not connected to the internet, because once it syncs, it's on the device. Yes.
I've got the mic back here, if you don't mind.
Where are you?
Right here.
Oh.
Just a comment.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
My question was, could you say a little bit more about this integration with MS Office? If the Evernote is not integrating with MS Office, does that mean you have to use that word processor in order to put your notes in? Use Evernote to create your notes? And if you're using OneNote, would you be able to, say, create a document in Word and then put it into OneNote?
Yeah, the question is, how does it work with Microsoft Office? How do I get notes or any kind of word processing documents from Microsoft Office into Evernote or to OneNote? Is that your question? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. If you're using Evernote, easiest thing to do is cut and paste. In other words, you have to copy the document from Microsoft Word, paste it into Evernote. If you're using Microsoft Office, you can actually send the Microsoft Office document to OneNote. There's a send function in Microsoft Office. We're over here.
Approximately how much storage are you using
Right now?
on your device? Yeah, on your devices.
Either one, I'm not using 10 gigabytes at all. I mean, these are very lean. I mean,
Right, I know.
the only thing that takes storage is like pictures take a certain amount, but text just doesn't take much at all, so.
Okay, well, I know that's a consideration when people buy a device, on how
Sure.
much storage they're gonna
Yeah.
have. So, that's what I was asking for.
Yeah.
Are you or anyone else here familiar with the S Note on the Samsung phone? I scribbled something on it this morning with the stylus, but that's all I know about it.
I'm not familiar with that. The question is, am I familiar with S? Is that what it is?
S Note.
S Notes. And I'm not familiar with S Notes.
Use OneNote instead.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you scan things into the so-called page when you bring up your tab and then the page? Can you scan with your scanner like the recipes that you would?
Yeah, you can, sure. Can you scan documents into either one? Yes, you can.
How do you get like a recipe from like allrecipes.com into your recipe thing? Do you send it or do you?
I wouldn't scan it, but the question is, both of these programs have a little function that you can add to the menu bar in your browser. Say if you're using Chrome, you can add a little button to Chrome for both Evernote and for OneNote. You click that little button, and it'll actually take that web page and put it into OneNote or Evernote. It's really cool. It's very cool. See, it's like getting a screen grab in a way, And you can do that too.
Can you explain PDF indexing?
And what, is it on my list here?
Yeah, right in the middle. PDF in the.
Oh, PDF indexing, yes, of course. Here's what it means. In Evernote, it will essentially read the PDF file and make an index of what's in the file. But OneNote will not do that. So both of these programs have a search function. So there's a little search box, so I could type in there. So say, for instance, if I had a PDF file with a recipe in it and it said avocado in the recipe, and it was a PDF file, it would find it in Evernote, it would not find it in OneNote, because it doesn't index what's in the PDF file. And, frankly, this is not, maybe I shouldn't have put that up there, because it's just not a big deal, but good question. Who else had it? Yes, Jim? No.
Calendars.
Where are you?
Everything in, I'm right.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And it's got everything in it except I didn't see anything about a calendar, which would be a logical thing for me.
There is no calendar. You can have reminders. In other words, you can have a task in your Evernote. You can have a task in OneNote, and you can have a reminder that's a date and a time attached to that task. In Evernote, it's a little add-on app. In OneNote, it isn't. It actually, you can have a task in Evernote that you can actually send that to your calendar. But as far as having a calendar that looks like a calendar in either one of those programs, no, there isn't, because it isn't the purpose of either one of those programs.
Bob?
Yeah.
In your presentation, there was mention of recording.
Yes.
Can you explain how that would apply to this?
Yeah, what it means is that you can make an audio recording, and that audio recording can actually be in either one of those programs. In other words, you might have a page in there that said recording of some speech that you heard or something like that. Well, you can put that recording into either one of those programs. You just dump it in the program and click on the, go to that page in OneNote or Evernote, click on it, it'll play the recording.
Bob, I want to thank you for a great presentation. want to remind everyone that this month was a one-time deal where we're on the second Saturday. Next month, we will go back to the first Saturday of the month. And I would certainly welcome all of you to come to our meeting next month. We're going to be talking about Picasa, not in terms of detail, but in terms of the many things you can do with Picasa. And so I'd welcome all of you back for that meeting. Again, thank you very much for coming, and thank you, Bob, for a great presentation.